Hi there and welcome to another informative half-hour journey inside Jamaica Magazine. I am Adrian Atkins and thanks for joining us. Coming up, our Western Roundup segment returns. Plus, we learn some key principles to achieving enhanced productivity. Sit back and relax with these and more to come after this message.
What do you need to know about masks for your children? You want to ensure that the mask fits your child snugly, as in it covers their nose, their mouth, and it fits neatly at the side of their face, no gaps. You want to get your children some washable, breathable mask made of fabric. You want to ensure that they carry an extra mask with them, because once that mask gets dirty or wet, they will need to change the mask. When they get home, you want to ensure that those masks are washed and ready for the next day or the other day to come. Also, remind them that they need to wash their hands when they're putting on the mask and when they're taking off the mask. And as much as possible, they should avoid putting their hands at the center of their mask. If it is that they have to make any adjustment to their mask during the day, it's important that they either wash their hands or use their hand sanitizer. Mask wearing is a new normal. Let's get it right.
In Western Roundup this week, team member Nikita Sterling takes us to school as more of them resume face-to-face teaching and learning. She's also with farmers who are getting equipment to improve drainage and flood prevention. Tag along for more.
More schools return to face-to-face classes in January. How is that going? Today we visit Salem Primary and Junior High in Westmoreland, where we take a look at how they have been progressing. We also head to St. Elizabeth, where RADA received a backhoe from the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We put in all the protocols. We ensure that our hand wash stations are in place. We have sanitization stations at strategic points right across the school. We have the isolation room in place. We also make sure that we have our sick bay and everything is up to standard.
That's only part of the reason the Salem Primary and Junior High School in Beeston Spring, Westmoreland has been labelled by the Westmoreland Health Department as a model school in observing COVID-19 protocols. In addition to the guidelines as outlined by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, they are going the extra mile to keep their students and staff safe.
During lunch and break, it's pretty much the same. The children are allowed to go for break, wash their hands before they have their breaks, and while they are washing their hands, their classrooms are being sanitized by our cleaners. They come back to a clean desk to have their break or to have their lunch, and after they finish eating, it is also sanitized again. Right after lunch, we have a mask change because we want to ensure that the children are not wearing the same mask for the entire day. So we allow them to do the mask change, which are done at designated locations on the outside. We also have a mask break at 2 o'clock to give them some air to breathe. But in addition to that, we have other mask breaks like right after break to make sure that they get some time to breathe, and in the event that they want extra mask break, they can ask their teacher.
But despite all the protocols that are in place, the students are just happy to be back in the classroom.
It feels exciting, although we can't bundle up like we always did, but it's okay because I understand more in face-to-face class. And when we're in face-to-face class, we get better understanding of things.
Face-to-face, I'm gonna see my friends. I like face-to-face because I get to understand more and I be more comfortable at school.
The Salem Primary and Junior High School resumed face-to-face classes on January 11 and is reporting that they have seen an increase in the number of students now attending classes. Over in St. Elizabeth, Farmers now have a greater opportunity to maximize productivity. This was made possible through the recent gift of a backhoe to the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries.
The acquisition of the backhoes directly speaks to the efforts of the government to introduce more appropriate technologies which will contribute to production and productivity. The backhoes will assist not only, as you have heard, in farm road rehabilitation, but also in the ministry's flagship production and productivity incentive program, which looks at crop, livestock, drought mitigation, and other major projects.
In the meanwhile, farmers operating in the parish are praising the initiative by the ministry.
What has been introduced here at Holland is a mark of good opportunities for farmers.
I think the backhoe here will help a lot in cleaning the drain and maintaining them, because of the low level of the land. It flooded sometime when we have heavy showers, so the backhoe I think will help a lot.
The backhoe is one of two purchased by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, valuing approximately $38 million from funds received under the COVID Recovery Response Program. The other equipment is assigned to Clarendon.
That's where the journey ends today. As usual, thanks for watching Western Roundup, where we take you from the corners of St. Elizabeth to the hilly terrains of St. Anne. Remember to send us your feedback to jismobe@jis.gov.jm. Until next time, take care.
Parents, make sure the children get immunized. Hear this! Immunization, it is a must. This is not a joke thing, this you can trust. It is required by law for entry to nursery, to daycare and to schools. Listen up, it is necessary to prevent diseases such as the measles, the poliomyelitis, the lockjaw and the whooping cough. Immunize your kids, keep them healthy, keep them strong. Prevent deadly diseases such as mumps, rubella and diphtheria. Immunize your child today. Immunization, a key to good health.
A message from the Ministry of Health and PAHO.
In order to cushion the negative economic impact of the global pandemic, COVID-19 safety protocols have been established to keep businesses operating and workplaces buzzing. Watch this next feature for the safety measures you'll need to take in order to protect yourself and others against the coronavirus infection at the workplace.
This workplace protocol is in keeping with the new phase, the latest phase of COVID-19, which is the community transmission phase. Focus is on how to prevent not just getting the virus, but more importantly, managing the virus in our current environment. And that includes how we adjust the workplace so work can take place while we manage the spread that will happen and is happening.
What employers and employees have to recognize is we no longer know who are the positive persons, because there are several positive persons in our community. They look just like you. They move around just like you. They're not having symptoms. They don't know that they're positive, and you're not going to know they're positive. It makes sense, therefore, that everything that you do in your daily operations, whether it is in your home, whether it is in your community, whether it is in your workplace, that those measures are sufficient to protect you and to protect others. And that is why we have the infection prevention and control measures. Organizations need to put in place daily cleaning protocols that are sufficient to kill any virus particles that may remain on surfaces where droplets may fall. Now, basic workplace rules are important for persons wherever it is that you work. And workers are required to wear a mask at work. And they must hand sanitize before entering their work area. Physical distancing, whether you're in an office, whether you're on a factory floor, whatever work it is that you do, physical distancing must be maintained at all work areas. Hand sanitization as you move from one work area to the next is important. In this way, you can even have somebody that is positive, who don't know that they're positive, working alongside you, but they are not transmitting infection to you. They are not exposing you because they are protecting themselves, and you protect yourself as well to decrease that risk of transmission. Management must play an important part in advising workers about COVID-19. Workers are to be advised that if they develop a fever or they're not feeling well, then they should call in and stay home. Workplaces must make those allowances to prevent the possibility of somebody who is symptomatic coming to work. If persons are not feeling better after a few days at home, then they should seek medical advice, and that may include doing a test. If they have done a test and the test is positive, they will be required to stay at home for a minimum of 14 days, including 3 symptom-free days after symptoms are resolved. Now, because whatever workplace they're coming from has been observing all the workplace protocols, and that person would have been in a mask at work, would have been hand sanitizing as they move from area to area, then there is no need to close your business or to send home other workers. If someone in the workplace is observed to be ill and to have a fever or respiratory symptoms, then that person should be sent home. Now, the area in which the person was should be wiped with a mild bleach solution and the surfaces wiped with disinfectant or alcohol. Now, once this is done and the area is dry, then that area is safe to be used. Now, persons who are in contact with the person who was symptomatic, showing symptoms, then those persons, if they have been adhering to their IPC measures, their infection prevention and control measures, then there is no need for those persons to go home. They are allowed to come to work. However, they must obey the instructions and the advice that have been offered from the workplace to say that they must adhere to all infection prevention and control measures. And if they start to feel ill, they must stay home and report that they are ill.
It's going to require significant personal, individual responsibility. The community transmission phase is a phase that requires an all-of-society approach more than any other phase. Everyone has to play their part. That's why we say everyone counts. And in the context of a work environment, every employee, employer, their workspace has to comply with the rules of engagement, assuming that if the virus is present, it is confined to that individual and not going to be spreading across the board. And if we take that approach, then we will make it happen.
Practice good hygiene by washing your hands frequently using soap and water. Here's how you should do it while conserving water. Turn on the tap to wet your hands, then turn off the pipe. Lather your hands and the tap with soap. Turn on the tap and wash your hands, back, front, and in between fingers. Use some of the water to wash off the tap, then turn it off. Dry your hands with disposable hand towels. If you don't have running water, use a hand rub containing 62% or more alcohol. If hand sanitizers are not available, rubbing alcohol, Dettol, white rum, or household bleach will do the trick. And if all else fails, Let hand washing and the handling of potable water be a two-person event. Each person will take turns pouring and washing hands with sitting water. Now is a good time to consider installing a tap on your containers to reduce the risk of water contamination. Faucets can be easily attached to drums, buckets, or 5-gallon water bottles. And to ensure that the outside of the containers are clean when recapping, disinfect it with hand rub containing alcohol that's 62% or more. The 5 R's of water conservation are also necessary to practice. Reduce water wastage by investing in water-saving devices. Reuse water at least twice before discarding. Replace leaking pipes, faucets, and other plumbing equipment. Recycle wastewater and use it for gardening, car washing, or cleaning of public spaces. And reclaim water through rainwater harvesting. We all must play our part to ensure there's water to combat the coronavirus and stave off prolonged drought.
The Jamaica Productivity Center, JPC, has been helping firms in the public and private sector improve their productivity. The JPC has been doing this through a number of sensitization programs, which continue even within the era of COVID. Watch this next feature to learn more.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security, through the Jamaica Productivity Center, JPC, has been developing and implementing programs as well as conducting workshops to assist individuals, companies and firms optimize their efficiency and drive productivity improvement in Jamaica. The JPC recently hosted a virtual session that brought accomplished individuals and high achievers in one setting to share needed information on how productivity can be achieved and its impact on society. Productivity, in simple terms, is how efficient an input is converted to output. When this happens, economic growth and the country's development is fueled because of the increased goods and services produced with greater efficiency. Businesses will realize higher profit as they produce more outputs from lower input due to the systems they implement. Their competitiveness will improve and they will be able to better compensate employees. Citizens will realize improvements in their standard of living and will be able to exercise higher levels of consumption of goods and services even with reduced working hours. Higher economic growth measured by increased gross domestic product (GDP) output resulting from an increase in productivity will also benefit the country. How? Through the generation of larger tax revenue for government. This allows for greater investments in infrastructure and services, including education, healthcare, welfare, transportation, roads, water, and more. Gross domestic product (GDP) is the sum of labor productivity, capital intensity growth, and total factor productivity. Therefore, increases in all three areas equate to us having a booming economy. JPC has found that there are several factors that hamper productivity that need to be treated with urgency. They include bureaucracy, low value-added production, crime, traffic congestion, lack of suitable technology and capital investment, as well as job and skill mismatch and limiting international trade flows. As it relates to labor productivity, the JPC recommends that companies and firms, public or private, small or large, research what is happening in their industry and make innovative changes on a consistent basis. Where enterprises are shifting from being more labor-intensive to technology, such as artificial intelligence, they must seek to create the right balance between human effort and technology to optimize productivity. Integrating the right technology and a smart business process that is measurable, result-based and time-based is now an essential part of the solution for firms to optimize productivity. This includes establishing customer service platforms and payment gateways that are responsive. Every worker needs to know what is required of them, with the worker and supervisor using verifiable established targets.
You cannot improve if you're not measuring. You won't know what to do, and we'll just be all based on a gut feeling. And so that's one of the things we want to encourage us, even as individuals, organizations, to have that culture or habit of measuring and measuring what matters, right? And not just measuring everything, but measuring what matters and working to improve on those gaps that exist.
The Labour and Social Security Ministry, through the Jamaica Productivity Centre, has started its very own modernization exercise through the institution of a digital records management system, moving a number of its services online as it upgrades its network and investing in new technologies to improve efficiency. Investing in research and development and facilitating the creative, scientific and technological expertise of Jamaicans will spur innovation and the creation of new products and services to transform industries to meet the demands of the fourth industrial revolution.
For example, we have agriculture. Agriculture could be transformed to an high-level agricultural sector. And I'm thinking also with that, there can also be greater linkages between the goods producing and service producing sector.
Enhancing productivity, quality and competitiveness through world-class individuals will require a culture of continuous training.
We have to learn how to accept or create structures that allow innovation, allow change, to build a culture of continuous learning and improvement. Let us start with access to broadband. Broadband can give us that quantum leap forward in Jamaica, tied with a digital literacy program for people of all ages, tied with schools that focus on continuous learning and continuous improvement.
We need higher education and more focused training programs, upskilling the global services industry. So that's basically like the BPO.
There's the possibility for individuals to use the internet and free education available online to advance productivity and for maximizing on remote working in this increasingly digital world.
Working on your own individual digital literacy, being familiar with the tools that are out there, not just for consumption, but what the possibilities are. And there's so many resources online that you can find to do that. Coursera, Udemy, and these are their platforms in their own right. Another one too that's really good, because I find that the things on Coursera and Udemy tend to maybe work best if you've already completed high school and university. If you need to bring your math skills up to date, you can use a resource like Khan Academy.
Increased education and training, certification, quality management and leadership, rewards and incentives, innovation, having the right technology, automation and tools, and using those to full capacity are all key tenets of long-term productivity. Of course, all this doesn't necessarily mean working harder. Instead, it's all about working smarter. You've asked for it, and now it's here. The Jamaica Information Service has updated its mobile app. It's easier to navigate, loads even faster than before, talking about top speed, operates seamlessly across platforms, and we're a creative bunch, so it's much easier on the eyes. Now you have quick and easy access to new stories, television and radio features, and a variety of photos right at your fingertips. And you'll get push notifications when new content is uploaded. Download the app on your Apple and Android devices now and get news you can use. Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica on the go.
Rural development is a major priority for government. Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Desmond McKenzie, outlines the focus areas and plans to advance development in this next leg of our journey through the magazine.
Government has recognized that on the path to developed nation status, rural development is critical. To ensure it is not overlooked, rural development is now a designated ministerial portfolio. It has been combined with local government.
The responsibilities of the ministry have grown because we have now added new responsibilities that for urban development, which includes water and rural electrification. We have gotten rural electrification which is net served. We have gotten rural water, which is a good addition because it brings with it a certain level of professionalism from the staff, and the projects that they are undertaking are projects which will enhance the Ministry of Local Government. So these two new areas have a vast areas of responsibility that goes with them that we hope to build on what started before in those agencies. One of the things that we have gotten is the demands for water, better roads and lights. Now, there are going to be areas across the country where the National Water Commission will not be able to provide potable water. This becomes the sole responsibility of the Ministry of Local Government.
Hi, Homer Edward Davis.
Minister Homer Davis, with his vast experience as a 3-term councillor and a 1-term as mayor, he has now come into the ministry as the Minister of State with vast knowledge and experience, and we're going to be putting that to use in the assignments that the Minister of State has been given. We are assigning our parochial roads under his responsibility. We are going to be giving Minister Davis the responsibility for water, and that means the water areas, which is social water, minor water and rural water, comes solely under Minister Davis' control. We are going to be adding street lights, again, which is critical, and Minister Davis will have that responsibility to continue the process to ensure that the Jamaican people get value for money. Over the last couple of months, there have been some negative in the press about the operations of the municipal police. A lot of it are true, and some of it is mere out of frustration. But the role of the municipal police in maintaining social order in our major town centers is critical to the advancement of local government. It is a serious issue of law and order, and we are going to be strengthening the capacity of the municipal police. We're going to be improving on the relationship with the Jamaica Constabulary Force to ensure that we can maintain law and order.
And I'm sure that this joining up with this new portfolio didn't just come about just like that. I'm sure it is after careful consideration from the Prime Minister himself, going across the country, seeing the problems in rural areas. We will move local government to its rightful place. The need for local government to be the premier ministry of government, because we are the one who touches lives more than any other ministry.
We are at the end of today's journey, and you have been a great company. Be sure to join us again tomorrow for another show. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging on to our website, gis.gov.jm, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Until next time, do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.